thank all of you all for being here today. It is a wonderful showing. I think somebody ordered up good weather. That might be Mr. Kevin Flannery, who knows something about having good weather. Thank you very much. You know, October 24 is kind of maybe hit and miss, but we've done a great job here. I really appreciate you all being here. So, as David said, I am Lori Flannery. I'm the CEO of New Directions, and we are here today because we are having a ribbon cutting for our new office space. As I look around, I see very, very, very many friends of New Directions, and I am sure that most of you are familiar with the work we do with affordable housing and our after-school programs. We have an early childhood education center in St. Benedict, which is also in the California neighborhood already. Many of you have been involved with our repair fair program. You might have been involved somehow in our community gardens, or you might have attended one or more of our 16 years worth of neighborhood roundtable. But for whatever reason that you're here, we are grateful. We very much appreciate you being here. You know that the work we do is often fun. I would say that sometimes it is difficult, and occasionally it can actually even be painful. We've had some of that this year, which we're working on. We're working on improving some of those situations that have happened in our community. But the main story for that is that it's worth it. Everything we do at New Directions and in the community is worth it, and we believe this community is worth it. We believe all of Louisville is worth it. So recently, I was on a bus coming back from Columbus, Ohio, with about 40 different people from around the community in Louisville. We had won a Robert Woods Johnson grant to do what they call peer learning. You can go to another community that you may have heard is doing something well and try to figure out if they have elements of that you can replicate in your own community. And we kept hearing buzz that Columbus was really looking at their community and that their disenfranchised areas as a patient. And because it was around a children's hospital, they really were trying to figure out ways to look at neighborhoods and say, okay, what's lacking and how to fix that. So we took the group up at early October and spent about 2 days, and that energy is still going. We're still having meetings. We're still hoping to see if there's something we can replicate from that. But on the bus, on the way back, we were all really thinking, okay, what does this mean for us? They showed us, all these fabulous things they're doing. They've been doing this for 10 years. They have huge areas of disinvestment, just like Louisville does, with what you would expect predictably to be negative outcomes. And how do you reverse that? And at some point in the conversation, my seatmate said, you know what, though? We have a lot of good things going on in Louisville, too. It may not be exactly where we want it to be, but we have good things going on. And sometimes we celebrate those, but not all the time. Sometimes we don't take the time to step back and say, okay, how are we doing? Because we know there's so much work that needs to be done. But every once in a while, you need to stop and you need to say, what are we doing right? And I will tell you, New Directions is right? The people associated with New Directions are right. The work we do is right. The people we do it with are right. Moving our headquarters to West Louisville, the West End, however you say it, is right. It feels right. And you all know it, and that's why you're here today, because you're our friends, and we appreciate it. So we decided that today is not going to be talking about what we need to do. Today is going to be celebrating. This is our celebration. Today is all about celebration. So thank you all for being here to celebrate with us. What do you need to celebrate? Well, obviously you need good food. So we thank Jarfi, our caterer, for being here. Please make sure you get something to eat before you leave. You gotta have good music. So we've got a DJ from the Russell neighborhood who's fantastic, named Richard Taylor. Thank you for being here, Richard. Adding a little music to our lives. And you have to have good company. So we have good company right here, but we also have good company in the new neighbors that we're gonna have. New Directions, these two buildings right here. That building's been occupied for a couple of weeks now because Bridget Johnson wanted to be in there. I always listen to Bridget. This building is 95% done, so as you go through it, you can see how beautiful it is. But do remember, we do know there's a couple of tiles that need to be replaced, and we will be doing that before we move in. We'll be here November 9th is when we will start being here. But the neighborhood that we come in, though, is already filled with all kinds of groups. And so right next door to us, we have King Solomon Missionary Baptist Church, right there. That's our neighbor. The Reverend Charles Elliott, this last weekend, celebrated 58 years as a pastor there. We definitely want to honor that. We consider ourselves lucky to be his neighbor. Over here in this corner, I don't know how far away it is. This is what I look at outside my window, because I keep thinking they're building an entire new YMCA, like right outside your window. Maybe you could go on the way home for once. Yes, exactly, Mr. William Summers. So this is the new Y that's opening, and it is absolutely going to be a fantastic facility. Steve Tarver was kind enough to send us a magnolia plant, which is inside. So that is from Steve, the CEO for the Y, which we very much appreciate. And he and his team recruited a gentleman named Bruce Jeffrey from out of state to come run that facility. New Directions is going to have a seat on that board. And so again, you're not even in yet. You're coming in from another state, but you're already making us feel welcome. Thank you. Just beyond where the YMCA is, One West with Yvonne Smith and her team are located, and they're focused on commercial and retail redevelopment of West Louisville, which complements what we do with affordable housing, community development, and our CDFI, the financial piece. So we're excited to work with Yvonne, and she's always saying invest west. Well, we are investing west, Yvonne, so you're welcome. The Urban League is right over here. In fact, I parked at the Urban League and walked down here because I wanted to see how far it was, and it is not far at all. And I also wanted to make sure that you all had enough parking available. Sadiqa Reynolds is doing a fantastic job, obviously, with the Track on Ali, but she's also gathered a group of nonprofit housing developers, and we are starting to talk about the West Can't Wait, right? The West Can't Wait. What can affordable housing do to help? So very much appreciate her leadership. And Hagen has just right beside her on Broadway, has just created a new facility for Park Duval Health Centers, which is a fantastic resource that is literally, you can't see it, but it's the crow flies is right there. So another fantastic neighbor for us. We also have private sector people. Right here is Heaven Hill, and right beside them is Brown Foreman. We feel very, very welcomed by both of those groups as well. As you know, there are also all kinds of small and medium businesses in this area, and there are people who make this area their home. So let's celebrate our neighbors. Today we also want to celebrate the people who have made this headquarters possible for us. And the first person that we would have to recognize along those lines is Charlie Johnson. I was going to say, you clap now, you clap later. Charlie deserves clapping. He's obviously been a long time community leader in this area. He built both of these buildings that are beautiful. He built these for his own campus, for his own business in the early 2000s for Active Transportation, which is a nationally recognized logistics firm. He also, through the years, has tried different things. He's talked about grocery stores and other things, but in this building right here, Charlie opened this up for small businesses. And there was a whole amalgamation of small businesses in here at one time that was serving the community, because he was really, really interested in creating jobs and lifting up the community and having great economic impact. Obviously, we've purchased it, so this will be a different economic impact, but I do think that Charlie deserves a round of applause for all of his efforts. The good news is Charlie's not going anywhere. He's in that building in the corner facing east. So he may be trying to hide from you all, I don't know, but that's where his offices are. I also want to thank Jerry Jacobs and his construction crew, because they've taken a beautiful property and really made it even more beautiful and more customized for the needs of New Directions. And they've done it on time, and it's just been great. And so I want to show my appreciation for Jerry. I also want to thank mightily Lisa Siebert and Pitt Pullen are here. This is a group we've been working with over the last couple of months to do branding and a new logo. And I haven't even seen my business cards yet, right? We have not rolled them out, but we thought, shoot, we're having a ribbon cutting. Why don't we at least give people a taste of it? So you can see we have changed our color palette. and some of the ideas that we have for some of the advertising and marketing. We'll be rolling this out over the next couple of months, but we wanted to share that with you so that you would know how hard Mightily has been working to try to meet our deadlines. So thank you all very much. We also celebrate our financial partners who provide us with the fuel to create our vision. The partners that we attract obviously have the same vision we do. They align. And so they have the resources and the fuel. They share that with us, and we implement this joint vision. You're going to hear a little bit later on from Republic Bank, Fifth Third Bank, and NeighborWorks on that. We also celebrate our civic partners. So we are in Councilman David James's, President David James's district, District 6. We also have Barbara Sexton Smith and Councilwoman Keisha Dorsey, who are in the California neighborhood and some of the properties that we have. And so we will hear from Councilwoman Dorsey as well. And then we have a representative from the mayor's office who also is always very supportive, just like all of these others that I've mentioned. We can't say enough about it. And today we have Deputy Mayor Ellen Hessen with us, who will share a proclamation and good wishes, I'm sure, from the mayor. We celebrate our own New Directions team. This is not last, right? It's not last but not least. The New Directions team is absolutely fantastic. We include St. Benedict's, which we often do in our numbers. We have 88 employees now in the West End. We have 32 board members that are representing the interests of these two organizations. And we have over $3.5 million of annual payroll, economic impact in West Louisville because New Directions has its headquarters here. I would like to now turn this over to Community Leader and New Directions Board Chair, Rosetta Fackler.
You can have my chair, Lori. Thank you, Lori. And thank all of you for being here today. This is a joy to see all of your faces and know how much you all support New Directions Housing. If you think back a little bit, in the late 1960s, open housing was a big issue in our city. Oftentimes it was very controversial, but it paused a lot of people and caused them to think, what on earth can we do to help people of low income have decent housing? And some of those questions were asked at a little church at 13th and Oak called St. William. And St. William has a long history of social justice activity. The small group of people got together and started talking about what they could do, what's possible, what is needed, and how can we go about accomplishing whatever our goal turns out to be. And as the story goes, Father Ben O'Connor, who was then the pastor at St. William, said, this is how the story goes, we need a new direction. And thus our name was born. Now, I personally think that that's an incredible piece of foresight on the part of the people who named this organization, because this organization has continued to go in new directions. We haven't stopped any place along the way. Housing was our first concern. It's still our main concern. But now we are lifting people up and out, and that is a good thing. So what I would say today from the people at St. William Church, and I'm a member of that church, thank you all. And to New Directions, welcome home.
Thank you, Madam Chair. New Directions has had a very long and strong relationship with Republic Bank. We have done many of our projects and the work that we do because of Republic Bank. We have, as a representative of Republic today, William Summers, who's going to make a few comments. But I would also like to acknowledge that William is the chair of Kentucky Housing Corporation, which is the statewide HFA, and that we partner with and depend on quite a bit for the affordable housing work we do. We also want to thank Republic for being the sponsor of this celebration today. So, William?
Thank you so much. Well, first of all, on a personal note, I just want to congratulate Lori. Lori has worked with me in my capacity at KC for years, and to see her passion to affordable housing and what she's done here with her and her team is quite fantastic. So just want to let you know that we do appreciate you, and I appreciate my relationship with you. But now, for Republic Bank, hey, as the largest headquartered bank here in Kentucky, our partnership with New Directions means a lot to us. Our founder, Bernard Traeger, and our current CEO, chairman and CEO, Steve Traeger, challenge me and each one of our associates to make an impact, not only in our bank, but in the communities that we serve. And quite frankly, I can't think of a better way to make an impact in this community than partnering with New Directions and making sure that affordable housing is accessible to all. So I want to thank my colleagues here, Wendy Cosby, Steve DeWeese, John Davis, did I leave anybody out? And Brandon Jaggers. And we just want to, along with the other 1,000 or so employees at Republic, congratulate New Directions on the work that they do and congratulate them on this fantastic new headquarters right here in the West End. Because let me tell you something, if we are going to continue to grow this community, we're going to have to invest our resources in the areas where we need to invest. And not only are we walking the walk, we are supporting the other companies and organizations that are doing so as well. So thank you to everyone here, and we just wish New Directions good luck in the future as well.
Thank you. Of course, Republic was responsible for allowing us to acquire these headquarters. Fifth Third Bank was responsible for allowing us to rehabilitate them to offices for New Directions. We have had a really, really strong relationship with Fifth Third for a long time. That helps us serve our clients. They help us with our events and with some of the things that we want to do for wraparound services. Adam Hall is our representative from Fifth Third here today. I also want to note that Adam is on the board of New Directions, and he is the immediate past chair. He is also the chair of St. Benedict's Early Childhood Education Center, which is part of the New Directions family. And I think he's on about 38 or 39 other nonprofit boards around Louisville. So it keeps him busy, but it helps keep us in the loop. Here's Adam.
Thank you, Lori. And I'll echo, I never like to follow you because you're so eloquent. I'll echo Mr. Summers in congratulating Lori. 3 years ago, she joined us, and it has been just a remarkable journey to see what she's been able to accomplish in 3 years, and an exciting journey to be a part of that. At Fifth Third, we have a driving principle to improve the communities that we serve, and that's why partnering with New Directions makes so much sense for us. They are on the ground every day doing important work, housing people, helping people to retain their homes through the Repair Fair program, helping people to grow their financial lives and improve their lives through supportive services. And so we're really excited to be a part of that, to help support that. I too want to acknowledge a couple of my colleagues, our marketing director, Zan Glover, and our commercial relationship manager, Harriet Lair. Thank you all for being here. And Lori, congratulations. Thanks.
Thank you, Adam. Another group that makes us so much better, really we would not be where we are without this group, is a national group called NeighborWorks. They are a federal organization that helps about 250 community development corporations like New Directions around the country access incredible training opportunities that we otherwise wouldn't be able to take advantage of, as well as financial resources and expertise. NeighborWorks did also help in sponsoring this event, and they also helped give us access funds to actually make the move. We hadn't moved in 25 years at New Directions, and I don't think anybody realized that it does cost money to move. So thank you very much for coming in the clutch. We have with us Cassandra Booth. We're lucky, she's our liaison, but she's the manager for the South for NeighborWorks. And she is very, very knowledgeable about this area, and she's very diligent in helping us get these resources. So please welcome Cassandra.
Good afternoon, everyone. What a beautiful day. Just a glorious day, and I'm happy to be here, delighted to be here to celebrate with New Directions 50 years of serving the Louisville community and individuals and families, helping them to find affordable housing options and daycare services. As Lori said, as a national organization, NeighborWorks America is congressionally chartered, and with an appropriation every year, we support organizations like Lori, New Directions across the country. And we are just delighted that we're able to partner with New Directions as a chartered member since 2005, I believe, to do the work that they do in their communities and to support projects like this with our strategic investment fund, grant opportunities, and our training that we provide for community leaders every year. And also the national training institutions that are offered 3 times a year. Last year, Louisville was graciously a beautiful host to the NTI last August, and we had a wonderful time here in Louisville celebrating New Direction and our other groups here in Louisville and the work that you do. So I'm just happy that we're able to support New Directions in their endeavors. And following Rosetta, I would say welcome home, and we look forward to working with you as you go forward in this new place.
Thank you. I didn't have it any other way. I mentioned our civic partners are very, very important to us, and we have 3rd District Metro Councilwoman Keisha Dorsey here to say a few words. Please thank her.
Thank you, Lori. I actually happened to be sandwiched beside Lori in one of my sheroes. They said the mayor's office representative, but she's definitely a shero of mine, Ellen Heston. I hear this theme of coming home, and being the only millennial on the council, I would ask if you all would oblige me in quoting a rap song that was very appropriate for today. That's what happens when you get millennials on the council. It says, I'm coming home, I'm coming home. Tell the world that I'm coming home. Let the rain wash away all the pain of yesterday. I know my kingdom awaits, and they've forgiven my mistakes. I'm coming home, I'm coming home. Tell the world I'm coming home. I'm back where I belong. Yeah, I've never felt so strong. I feel like there's nothing I can't try. And like the millennial would say, if you feel me, put your hands high. All right, so I thought that was very appropriate for today. When we talk about 50 years, which is longer than I've been living, and the mission of what New Directions has achieved, I asked my staff, could you put together some talking points, but I'm gonna breeze right through them today. It's truly an honor to be standing in vision. It's one thing to have a lot of agencies start things, but it's something said to longevity and sustainability. And that's exactly what we've seen in the New Directions Corporation. And I am proud to be a representative of the Metro Council here today to represent my colleagues whose district I stand in, President David James, my other colleague, Barbara Sexton Smith, as well as the entire council. And then I'm also privileged to sit on the Affordable Housing Trust Fund in One West. So I count it a privilege to be here today. Back in 1969, when we heard Father Ben O'Connell, that was previously stated, say, it's time for a new direction. Well, I think we see that revitalization and that new direction happening right here as we hear construction actually happening right behind us. It's a reawakening of this community that has long been underinvested, and we see the revitalization happening here today. So with over 2,000 residents helped with New Direction, over 1,000 families. And the 4 pillars of service, I looked them up: education, financial empowerment, healthcare provision, and sustainability. I would say that we have chosen a great organization to invest in, and we're here for quite a celebration. My predecessors at the Louisville Metro Council have partnered with many organizations over the years in regard to affordable housing, but I would say none as pivotal as New Directions. As a valued partner, we have supported New Directions in various things like the Repair Fair, the Brandeis Apartments, the Shelby Park Revitalization Project, as well as West Market. And then for more than 10 years now, the Metro Council has invested in the Affordable Housing Trust Fund, which has worked with New Direction to complete 2 two homes, at 80% AMI, and recently endeavoring on a new construction project. I don't know if I said endeavoring right. Check that out the cut. But in all seriousness today, when we think about what New Directions has the ability to be able to do and what it's done, what a privilege. So I'm looking forward to the next 50 years. And so here's to that, and helping everyone that New Directions meets with and new families find their place called home. So I thank you for today.
Thank you, Councilwoman. It's Marshall, our IT guy. He's unobtrusive. Thank you, Marshall. Last but certainly not least, we have Deputy Mayor Ellen Hessen.
Good afternoon, everyone, and it's a real thrill to be here. The mayor is sorry he couldn't be, but I'm very happy that I could stand in his shoes. Growing up, more years than Councilwoman Dorsey has been around, but there was a favorite phrase I always heard from one of my favorite aunts, and it went something to the effect of, I don't know where we're going, but we do need to go in a different direction. And I do think she heard that from Father O'Connor, because this aunt was Sister Rosarita, who had been a long-standing member at St. William's. So I think there's a lot of full circles going on here today. So anyway, we want to congratulate Lori and all of the crew at New Directions for heading in this direction and continuing on. Joe Gleesner, I know for 30 years, Lori for the past 3. There he is. You all have continued this mission and appreciate what you all are doing for affordable housing advocacy, financial empowerment, and neighborhood challenges being tackled. And one of the things I get to do when the mayor isn't around is proclaim for him, because as mayor he gets to do proclamations all the time, but I'm lucky to get to do this today. So Lori, if I could grab you, and I will read this. To all whom these presents shall come, greetings. Know ye that the city of Louisville honors New Directions Housing Corporation as we celebrate its 50th anniversary by cutting the ribbon on its tremendous new headquarters. New Directions has been a significant player in Louisville's efforts to build equity and affordability in housing, and we're excited that its efforts have now a new home to continue this good work. Our city thanks the New Directions team for 50 wonderful years and wishes it 50 wonderful more years to come in its new headquarters.
Thank you, Deputy Mayor, and thank Mayor Fisher as well. Well, this concludes this celebration. I hope that you all will take the opportunity to get something to eat, talk with some of your colleagues and friends, listen to a little music. You are able to tour the properties. We will have staff if you want to get an idea of what the offices look like. And I would like you to mark your calendars, because we are also going to say goodbye to our old headquarters where we were for 25 years. It's the old Casa Grisani restaurant. It's going to be on Thursday, December 12th at 5 p.m. And we will have a party again. We'll celebrate. I think that's just who we are. We will, of course, be reminiscing with Joe Gleesner, and we will be honoring the Grisani family for their generosity, because they're the ones who gave us that property for 25 years, which has just been an absolute boon for New Directions. And we'll also honor the Gray family, because they're the ones who made the connection between Joe Gleesner and the Grisani family. Thank you all again for being here. Thank you for being friends of New Directions.